The original promise of the internet was broader access and more direct visibility into public actions. That visibility supported better representation and stronger accountability, because more people could see and respond to the same information at the same time. The current system shifts that model. Exposure is no longer broad by default. It is filtered continuously based on engagement patterns, which changes how information reaches people and how widely it spreads across different audiences. People think they are seeing the internet. They are not, because what reaches them has already been selected in advance. Most people still assume their feed reflects what is happening in the world. You open an app, scroll through posts, and expect a wide sample of events, opinions, and updates. The volume of content makes that expectation feel justified, because there is always something new appearing. But the feed does not reflect what exists. It reflects what the system selects. What appears in front of you is only a small portion of what is available, chosen based on predicted engagement, not importance. The filtering begins with simple actions. When you watch a video longer, pause on a post, or click on a topic, the system records that behavior. It does not need to understand your beliefs or your intentions. It only tracks what keeps your attention and what you do not skip. From there, it ranks new content based on patterns that match your past behavior and similar users. This means your feed is not built from what exists. It is built from what has already worked on you, using repeated signals to refine what appears over time and reduce uncertainty about your behavior. Please subscribe. At first, this feels like an improvement. The system removes content you ignore and replaces it with things you engage with more often. The feed becomes faster and more consistent. It reduces friction and makes the experience feel efficient and personalized. But this creates a narrowing effect. Each interaction pushes the system to show more of the same type of content. Over time, entire categories begin to disappear from your feed. You are not choosing to ignore this content. It has already been removed before you ever had the chance to choose it. This narrowing matters more in politics than in other areas, because political awareness depends so much on exposure. To understand what's happening, you need to see competing claims, different interpretations, and events that might not match your expectations. You need to encounter information that challenges your assumptions and brings in unfamiliar viewpoints. When those inputs are reduced, your understanding remains incomplete. It's entirely possible for two people to follow the same election and never see the same issues, even if both are actively paying attention and honestly believe they're informed. The system, as it stands, is designed around engagement, not representation. It doesn't measure whether you're seeing a balanced set of perspectives, or whether you're even aware of important issues that actually affect outcomes. Instead, it measures whether you keep scrolling, watching, or interacting with whatever is presented. If familiar or emotionally consistent content keeps you engaged longer, then the system simply continues in that direction. This creates a feedback loop, where your past behavior determines your future exposure, and your future exposure reinforces your past behavior, tightening the range over time and reducing variation without you noticing. This all creates a structural shift from earlier media systems. In the past, exposure was broader and far less personalized. People might disagree on interpretation, but they often saw the same events and information, usually through shared channels like television or major websites. Now, though, the starting point is different. The system selects a narrow set of inputs for each person before they even begin to form an opinion. This means that two people can follow the same topic and still receive very different views of what's happening, even if both believe they are well informed. Accountability depends on shared visibility. If a public action, decision, or event is widely seen, it can be questioned and challenged by a large audience. But if visibility is uneven, accountability weakens. Some users might see an issue again and again, while others never encounter it at all. If people simply do not see an issue, it cannot be widely questioned, and without that shared visibility, public response becomes fragmented and a lot less effective. There is also a timing effect. Content that triggers immediate reactions is promoted more aggressively because it produces fast engagement signals that the system can measure quickly. On the other hand, content that requires more context or slower understanding is less likely to spread widely. Fast content rises quickly, while slower content fades before it reaches most users. As a result, political awareness becomes more tied to reaction than to understanding, which in turn changes how issues are perceived and how quickly opinions form. Another constraint is competition. Each time you open a feed, thousands of potential posts are ranked, and only a small number are shown. Most content is filtered out before you ever see it. This means your awareness is shaped by a selection process that removes the majority of available information before it reaches you. Most of what exists never reaches you, even though it is accessible somewhere on the platform and could be seen under different conditions. This leads to a common misunderstanding. People believe they are choosing what they see, but their choices only operate within a limited set. The system controls the initial selection, and that selection determines what you can respond to. This creates the appearance of individual control, while the range of options is already constrained. Your decisions feel independent, but they are shaped by what is presented to you in the first place and what is withheld without notice. Your attempts to expand that range are often temporary. You can follow new accounts or search for different topics, and the system will briefly introduce new material into your feed. But your behavior quickly pulls it back toward familiar patterns. The system returns to the same pattern as soon as your behavior stabilizes. It is designed to hold your attention, not to expand your exposure or maintain a broad and stable view of information over time, even if more content is available. What changes in practical terms is where the limitation occurs. Before, limits came after you saw information, when you decided what to pay attention to and what to ignore. Now, limits occur before you see anything, when the system decides what enters your feed in the first place. This shift reduces shared awareness and changes how political information spreads across large groups of people. It changes not only what people think, but what they have the chance to think about. The algorithm is not just influencing what you think, it is limiting what you can know about what is actually happening. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.